Hey everybody, my name is Josh, and this is Waystone Entertainment's new MOBA Dawngate. Specifically, this is Nissa. She's an attack damage carry. If you've ever played League, she's really similar to Ezreal, especially her ult. We'll take a look at that in a minute. She has a squirrel for a friend and an enormous boomerang on her back, which I believe makes her just like everyone living in Australia, but I could be wrong, but I'm probably not. She is a lot of fun. She's got a really cool passive. It's something I've never seen before. It might be in another game, but if it is, I don't know about it. I have to cut away to level her up, and as soon as I'm done leveling her up, we'll go through her skills and abilities. Alright, here we are back in with Nissa, all leveled up and ready to go, and I'm just sitting here thinking how fucking crazy some of the stuff they put in this game is. And, hey, Bob's your uncle, how about some creeps to show you these abilities and how they work? So her Q is a boomerang, or a baraga, or as I'm sure everybody who looks like Nissa pronounces it, baraga. Is it baraga? So her Q is a boomerang. It goes out, it hits an enemy, it hits the next two enemies behind it. Pow, just like that. It's a direct damage spell. There's not a whole lot other than that that's super interesting about it. Her W is really, really cool. Hey, I leveled. Her W is really cool. It's going to allow her to chase really effectively, I think. And so basically what happens is you trigger, well, it's got a passive component and increases her her agility, which really just translates to haste in the game. Haste is, directly influences your movement speed and your attack speed. So when you trigger it, and I'll show you here, when you trigger it, it increases her movement speed, and it refreshes up to 3 times on basic attack. So if you're chasing somebody down, so you press your W, 1, 2, 3, and you'll notice here, I pointed to the screen as though you could see my hand. It continues to refresh. Speaking of chasing, her E, her wing clip, she throws in like essentially a small AoE boomerang that spins in place, does damage over time, and is a snare, which gets worse for the enemy, for the enemy shapers. That's what they're called. I keep wanting to say champions. For the enemy champions, obviously, you know, the higher it gets. So there it is right there. You can cue those guys, you W in. Now, I would like to wait for a bigger minion wave before I show you her ultimate, because if you've ever played League, which, again, I'm sure you have, you know there's nothing more satisfying than using Ezreal's ultimate on a huge wave of creeps, but I think this will have to do. So her ultimate is called Final Flight, and it's essentially that giant boomerang she has on her back. It does diminishing returns as far as damage goes, based on each enemy it hits, full damage to the first one, and then I think, let's see, 8% less for each enemy after that. Now let me see, well, this is what it looks like. So it's a great big boomerang, it goes back, it comes back, which is the big difference. So it'll go out, it'll come back, and I honestly don't know what the damage numbers look like on the way back. I don't know if it's the same or if it's different, but you can press R and you can bring it back early. So if you ultimate an enemy, it hits them, and you want to bring it back immediately, you can press R and it will bring it right back to you. It's really cool. Now, I just ran into a bush, and you can see that a little ward icon has appeared here. Her passive, Nissa's passive, is so stupid and so powerful in a game where you only ever get one ward. Each character only gets one ward at a time. This is a character that can have 2. And if you've ever played a decent game of League of Legends, you know that wards and map control and vision are the most fucking important thing that no one ever does. So she can have 2 wards at the same time. Her little squirrel friend jumps off of her shoulder, and this is what it says in the flavor text. Her little squirrel friend jumps off of her shoulder and hides in the bush until it gets lonely 120 seconds later and comes and finds her again. So you run into a bush and it's immediately warded. That's a huge deal. If you're not aware, in Dawngate, everybody has a ward. It's just a spell that cools down, has a 3-minute cooldown, and you know you can place another one after that. That is a huge deal, and it's a really cool idea for a passive. So you know, so you can see him following her around in the bush. I can go over here. I can ward this bush now. I have 2 bushes warded. It's going to be so difficult to gank her. Just something to keep in mind if you're watching this and you play a jungler in Dawngate. Nissa's going to be tough to gank. That's Nissa. I'm Josh. This game's a lot of fun, you guys. If you can get a beta key, if you can beg, borrow, steal to get one, you should get one.